Hi everyone, this is a follow-up video on my previous one about Asian males dating plight. In many Asian people's minds, whites are a superior race, and to marry a white person is considered marrying up. As I mentioned in my previous video, in the US, Asian girls are the only ones not putting men of their own race ahead of others. And it also turns out Asian men are the only ones putting women of another race ahead of their own. Here I would like to point out the facts why Asian people should really consider each other as their best dating and marriage partners. As I mentioned before, Asian men and women look down on each other for various reasons. The main one that no one talks about is the racial inferiority complex deeply ingrained in the Asian culture. Many Asian Americans are new immigrants and they tend to view this country as a white man's world, that they need to desperately fit in to be considered successful in the US. And marrying a white person is considered the ultimate success in fitting in the white circle by many Asian Americans. Now, self-hate in Asian community also manifests in their blames on Asian boys for being too shy, too nerdy, or not being muscular enough to attract Asian girls. Sure, those are stereotypical images of Asian boys, but what about their strengths? It's not doing anybody's favor by just focusing on Asian boys' weaknesses and never mentioning about their strengths, while only touting white boys' strengths, but totally ignoring their weaknesses. And after all, what kind of white men do Asian girls end up with anyways? Are all of them super hunky, muscular, and super funny studs? No, they're just ordinary white guys. Some of them are just as shy and nerdy. Most of them are not in great shape either. And there's this age-old myth that white men's dicks are bigger than those of Asian guys and it can give women a lot of pleasure. Now, the dick size issue is like the concept of God in religion. Despite the lack of evidence, believers firmly swear by it and claim if you cannot prove it does not exist, then it must exist. Okay, fine. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt and accept your claim. But we all know there's this other claim that the white men's dicks are not the biggest one either, and the men's dick can never match up to that of a donkey. And no matter how muscular you are, the world's strongest man is still no match for an ordinary gorilla. Humans' strength is in our brain, not our body. The function of the human body is to support the brain, and the only important quality of this supporting system is to be healthy. A human doesn't have to be super strong or super fast or jump super high. A human only needs to be smart and healthy. So consequently, the ultimate reason to date and marry someone is what? Sexual pleasure? Sure, why not? But also seriously, the main goal, the one that can make your happiness last the longest, well into the future generations, is to obtain the best DNA for your children. And the sexual pleasure, the ultimate orgasm, should come from knowing very well that you are receiving the best genetic makeup for your baby instead of from just the physical friction alone. Now, who has the best genetic makeup in terms of health? On average, in the US, Asian Americans outlive whites by a whopping 10% extra life expectancy. And around the world, places with the longest life expectancies are all East Asian countries. In terms of being smart, 56% of Asian Americans have a college degree versus only 35% of whites. And around the world, regions with the highest IQ points are all East Asian territories. So in a nutshell, we are humans, not animals. And physical prowess is no longer an asset to us. Our true value is in health and intelligence. Asian people marrying each other is the best match for both Asian men and Asian women, so we can get the best, the healthiest, and smartest children.